Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Hi, Shawn. Welcome to the
Hey.
ActsSocial podcast. My name is Ryan McKinney. I will be your host for today. We are just so grateful to have you on here, man. What you're doing in the Christian space with bringing a
Mhm.
brand new social media app is just very, very powerful, and it's changing lives and it's changing the world. And can't wait to kind of dive into that aspect. But I would love the viewers to kind of know a little bit more about who you are, kind of where you came from, your background, and kind of what brought you to the faith and, what started your journey
Mm.
for Act Social.
Well, I suppose I am a Southern Baptist country kid that was forced to grow up in church. I'm a Texas boy. We grew up in East Texas in a small town, very small town over there, and an even smaller community of about 70 people where our home actually was. And I think that it kind of includes some of the cats and dogs too. But it was a church of about 30 people on a really busy Sunday. A little country church, your traditional
Yep.
country church with a wooden steeple, little Baptist church. And yeah, so that was how I grew up. That doesn't mean that you really have a relationship with Jesus. You just get some documentation poured in through all your Sunday school stuff, and it gives you a good concrete foundation to then grow up in life and then get slammed through the hard times and
Yep.
then look back and go, oh, I should probably do this. I should probably do that. So that's pretty much all it
Right.
was. So that's me,
Yep.
man. Just country. I guess I was a kind of a little redneck kid. We grew up on farm. We had horses and cattle and chickens and gardens, and
So
I
yeah,
grew
the
up
whole 9 yards.
on a farm, man. It was my job was to work. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's it, man. Had both my parents up till my dad died in the last few years, but my mom's still around. And man, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. Serial entrepreneur. My friends make fun of me and say it's
Yep.
I started in high school. I worked at an oil change place, one of those Pennzoil 10-minute oil change places, because I'm a car guy, big
Yep.
car guy. And
Okay. Yep.
yeah, so yeah, I kind of worked my way up. And at 20 years old, the owner made the long drive out of Dallas again, like he did every week, and said, "Hey, I'm sick of making this drive. I want to sell it to you." And I said, "Well, I'm a 20-year-old. My parents aren't gonna back me on anything like this. I'm just a kid." And he said, "Well, I'm just going to owner finance it to you then." So that was the last time I ever worked for anybody else. So I took that over and grew that to 7 locations between Dallas and Texarkana, Texas, and then sold those out and learned huge lessons through all that that we might or might not get into. And I've just done nothing but do business startups and either sell out or fail. One of those two. You either sell the business out because it's doing awesome, or you count it as a flop and you move on. So those are the good
Yeah.
lessons, though, when you learn those.
What a
But
good
yeah,
mindset to have too, man. Yeah. Regardless of the failure, it's always
yeah,
lessons.
it
Great
is, man.
mindset.
It is.
Yeah.
It's that way in faith
Yep.
too. Yeah, really, it applies to everything. Yeah, it really
Right.
applies to a
Right.
lot. But yeah, so worked all the way up to the story of ActsSocial. We started in December 2022, actually building this, and we wanted to make
So
sure it wasn't
recent.
some cheesy website WordPress thing. If we were
Yeah.
going to compete, we were going to compete with Facebook and X and TikTok and all those on their big, massive platforms, then that's why it's taken us 3.5 years and a small team of 17 developers to actually build a platform that can go global and compete on the newest technology platforms. Just in fact, some of our platforms or some of our pieces in our technology stack is more advanced than Facebook and some of the others, because they're old and they haven't updated some pieces. So we had the blessing of
Right.
starting with the newest, latest, greatest on that. So yeah, it's yeah. So we can get in more into that, but that's me, and that's the journey in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
wonderful, man. And like I kind of said a little bit earlier, what you're doing with Act Social, I would love to just kind of hear a little bit more about why for the Act Social. Why Act Social?
Mm.
What's the, what drove you to kind of go that route? Coming from an oil business and having a few
Yeah.
other businesses in the middle to
Mhm.
Act Social. What sparked that flame? What kind of
Well,
got that going?
that's kind of what I asked God when I was told to do it, because I am not a social media guy. I
Mhm.
deleted most of my social media years ago, and other social media, like, I never even had an Instagram or account, or any of those. I had an old Facebook account, still
Yeah.
do. It's my pathway through to the business account, so I have to keep it. But you won't see that I've said
Mhm.
anything on there in years. I just don't baby.
Yeah.
If you're on there and you're posting that you're about to jump in the shower or you just had a hamburger, don't care. You've wasted my day. So I'm not a social media person, but to answer your question, Cherie and I for last few years have done a morning devotional, and I've got a video out there about this, but just in summary on this,
Yeah.
we do this little morning devotional. We figured out when we get up in the morning, and in the old days, we picked our phones up and started looking at email and stuff like that. Kind of
Mhm.
started the day off way wrong and stressful. So we
Yeah.
started doing devotional in the morning together, and it's kind of our
Awesome.
time with our sipping our coffee in bed. And I had just a couple of months before, I wasn't happy with the current company that we have right now. We are Trinity Proximity, and ActsSocial is our product, but we were building mobile applications and stuff for different towns across the country, a tech company that I started at the end of 2016. And I just wasn't happy with it. I mean, it was paying the bills, but it wasn't going to be anything. It was going to be
Yeah.
there was going to be no acquisition. There was going to be no nothing. It was just kind of
Mhm.
it was kind of vomited
Yeah.
out. And I
Yeah.
I remember in a humbling time in the toilet room, because the door was shut behind me. I just went down on my knees, and I've got a book
Yeah.
coming out a little later this year that tells some of the gruesome details about my life on this. So I won't get into that too much, but
That's cool.
I had been praying about it, let's say. And Cherie and I, a couple months later, Cherie and I, our morning regular devotionals, she jumped up to go get ready in the bathroom in there and closet and stuff. And I wasn't in a rush, didn't have any meetings that morning. So I just kind of went back to prayer with God again. And I said, I want to bring this back up again. I'm not happy with this company. I know you probably aren't either. I mean, what do you want me to do with it? Do we just keep our current little clients we have on the little software builds, or what do we do? And, when the Holy Spirit talks to you, you usually get like a soft, quiet little prompting, or sometimes you're like, was that my mind or was that the Holy Spirit saying that? Sometimes you even question that, just that little subtle voice inside. And this was not that way. It was a gut punch. Like, it took my breath
Mhm.
away. The hair stood up all over my body, and it was just like I just had a not a fear, but just a breath takeaway moment. And it was a clear, still, soft, still voice that said, "Build a platform globally, social media platform that glorifies my kingdom around the world." And
Oh
so
my
I was
goodness.
like, wow. So we would build our own product now, not products for someone
Yeah.
else. And I was like, but to answer your question that you asked a second ago, I'm not a social media person. I was like, you could probably pick someone better for this that
Yeah.
knows social media. Says I'm actually
Yeah.
gonna have to get on and start asking questions how algorithms work with these social platforms. And that's exactly what we
Yeah.
did, which is probably
Yeah.
a good thing to start with a clean slate, not knowing
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say, I mean, quite the perspective that you
yeah.
have, not being a social media person in a social media
Mm-hmm.
world.
Right.
I mean, that's
Right.
quite the
I know,
perspective,
man. I
and then to
know.
be
I
able to
know.
kind of look at that and build something of your own in that space that
Yeah.
glorifies
Yeah.
the kingdom and glorifies
Yeah.
the Lord. I mean,
Yeah.
that's very what a way that God used you
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
is
Well,
very
thanks.
powerful.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, very very powerful.
Yeah. He doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called, I guess. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah,
I wouldn't consider
absolutely.
myself qualified or anything like that. But I guess I'm through these hardships of these builds, man. I will say that when you have a moment like that, when you have that kind of touch from him,
Mhm.
is you you take it pretty seriously. The fear of him comes over you to the point that uh, you better do it right, because at one point you're going to have to stand at the gates and answer for this, so to speak, one day on Judgment Day. So, what if we had built it in 6 months to a year, and it was kind of just a glorified blog page,
Yeah,
and that's really
yeah,
all it was, kind of cheesy on that.
yeah.
How would I answer for that? like
Right.
I told you to build a platform, and you have a team there that's super talented. Our team is awesome. Our team's awesome. Been with us almost all of them from day one. So no one
Mm-hmm.
hardly ever leaves our team. We're a close knit family, work wise,
Yeah.
yeah. So it had to be right, and that's why 3.5 years to build it, and we had to study Facebook's stuff and TikTok stuff and all their algorithms before we grasped what disgust people. They love it, they're addicted to it.
Mm-hmm.
Their dopamine rush is that, but we had to take that and flip it upside down and make it
Yeah.
just the exact opposite. And that part actually wasn't difficult.
Really?
That part wasn't.
Wow.
It's to put to it's a scoring system. It's what algorithm is, and we score everything based on post and based on your drama, or you bully people, or you're just you're gonna use foul language, or you're gonna put something in that's just not really a nice image, or something gory or violent. And then you've got the people who are kind and complimenting and give gratitude and say, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through. They lift people up. Well, everybody's identified. So just take it and go and flip it upside down, and the platform completely changes with Christ-centered values immediately.
Yeah.
So it was amazing
Focus
how it
on.
all started clicking together recently. So yeah,
Wow. Yeah. That little flip. It's so little, but it feels like it does just. I mean, it changes the whole game.
yeah,
It brings the
you're right.
positivity to the top and then pushes the
Yeah,
negativity down,
yeah,
which is it's completely opposite, like you said, to what the current mainstream social
yeah,
media platforms are doing. You know,
yeah,
it it
yeah,
it amplifies your drama, it amplifies your negativity, it amplifies your gossip.
yeah, yeah.
Amplifies the darker side of the OnlyFans nudity stuff like
It
that.
does.
And it's
Yeah.
so
It is
sad,
sad.
man.
It is sad. In
What it
fact, you and I
does.
joked the other day, you kind of came up with this as, well, our
Yeah,
dopamine is the Holy Spirit. And it was like, oh,
yeah,
we had this moment where
yeah,
we're like, you're right. The ActsSocial
yeah.
platform, your dopamine is
Right.
the Holy Spirit. It's
Yeah,
positivity. And yeah, anyway, go ahead.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because
Yeah.
when you're scrolling on these Instagram reels and these Facebook reels, man, you're getting dopamine through the roof. It's
I
just
know.
dopamine left and right.
I know.
And
I
when
know.
you scroll on something like Act Social, where it's Christian based, and every post that you see is beneficial to you and
Mm-hmm.
your walk with the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
it's Holy Spirit based. Now you're
Yeah.
yeah, you're getting growth from
I
from
know.
scrolling, instead of just
Yeah.
a temporary dopamine hit, and then that's going to leave you right after you're done
Yeah.
scrolling, and then you're going to be
Yeah.
back on TikTok scrolling in the next 30 minutes.
You're exactly
So
right.
this is like Act Social gives you a lasting effect,
It does.
for that spirit build,
You
that
want to
I
hear
think.
you want to hear a sad story, and this because you're
Yeah.
working in our team and stuff like this. But I'll tell for the
Hmm.
audience's sake.
Yeah.
If someone deletes their account on ActsSocial, because we launched in a private or non-advertised beta version in the middle of 2025, and then now here at the time we're doing this podcast 2026, we're about to release the final big converted version, that's way different
Hmm.
with all the feedback applied and everything, and a full public launch. People delete their accounts, we wanted to know why they were deleting their account, because it gave us more feedback of what people want. This one, sadly, we could not fix, and it's boring.
Mm.
It's too positive. And you know what? That's kind of sad when people say, I came onto the platform, because we didn't advertise. So someone told them about it or referred it. They probably didn't see it unless they saw some blog post somewhere or something like that. They certainly didn't reply to an ad. We didn't do them through the beta times that these people came in. So someone got them there, and they look through the feeds, and they still see a little drama in ActsSocial, like, hey, I lost my job today. How's this going to work, God? You still see posts like that, but then you see other people saying, oh my goodness, so sorry. Or someone chimes in, oh, I went through that, and then now I look back years later and I'm so glad it happened. I know it's not what you want to hear right now, but hang
Yeah.
in there. You
Yeah.
see the uplifting comments to someone's drama post because it's their life. It's not over dramatized, but people see that and go through and give. It's not very many, but it's sad to see the ones that say, I'm deleting my account because this can't be. It's too fake. People are too too positive, too uplifting. These aren't real people. And you're like,
Yeah.
wow, your brain
Yeah.
has been programmed to that for so long that now you think it's fake. That's
Right.
sad.
Right. Yeah. It's very, very sad. Very, very
It
sad
is.
the
It is.
level of, comparison that goes on when you are on social media.
So true,
Like
man.
that level of comparing yourself to that person, or, oh well, they're not
Yeah.
going through a good time right now. Like, that's
Yeah.
on them. Good luck for them. But then it's
Yeah.
entertaining
Yeah.
to you. Oh, let me
Exactly. Yeah,
or
exactly.
this person's making more money than me. Wish I had that. It's like this
Yeah,
this comparison and this judgment that goes on through social media.
it is,
It's
man. It is.
heartbreaking, and it's something, ActsSocial counters directly, which is just, it's very
Yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah.
because it, like I
Yeah.
said, it boosts up that positivity. So
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that being said, we all know, through our walk with the Lord, it's not always easy. And there's,
Mm.
many times where, as a person, things get attacked, we get attacked, we feel we're going through hard chapters, maybe it's hard challenges, bad habits we got to break, or maybe it's
Yeah.
through the project, Act Social, maybe, experiencing challenges or,
Hmm.
pressures from, the evil side of the world, that we would like
Mm.
to probably put it.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges, man, that you've experienced personally, but also that you've experienced with this growth of Act Social that you've noticed? Maybe like a little resistance.
Yeah. Yeah. Like just a little resistance. Well, I'll say,
Yeah.
gosh, where do I even start, man? I'll tell you some of I'll tell you some of the issues that we've been through as far as the challenges and things like that. Attacks, actually.
Yeah.
It's, gosh, where do I even start? There's been several times through this build that we ran out of money, or got really close on that before we got any more funding in, through different sources on our build. There's been multiple times during the build of this, and big challenges is we get attacked. I'll tell you the most recent one. So and this is going to be in the book, so not to spoil anything, but it's just one of the many things that we've got there is people will come in sometimes to bad actors will come into ActsSocial, and servers send us the script errors back in on like emergency alerts and stuff as hackers. And did you know that 100% of all the hackers have been in third world Muslim countries? Every
Oh my
single
goodness.
time we've had multiple attempts of hackers and just machine gunning, trying to pull the servers down and things. Uh, the verse "Count it pure joy, brother and sister" kind of thing. Going through
Yeah.
that.
No. Right.
It's true. It's true. I'll tell you the most recent one though. I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
Cherie's been studying. Cherie, my wife, we've been married 30 years this year, and we got
Yeah.
3 kids and 4
Congratulations.
grandkids and stuff. Yeah, thanks. But I'm old. I'm 51. But she's been studying for a test, and she wanted to get a certificate. She's been RN for a big part of our married life, and she wanted to also get another certificate in. So she's been doing some studying, and I was done with work, and she was sitting in the living room, and I was scrolling through, which we don't watch a ton of TV always. Some nights we do, but I saw Passion of the Christ on there, and I thought, oh wow, that Mel Gibson movie. I have not watched that since for almost since it came out, just about. And
Right.
it's like, that would be
Yeah.
interesting to kind of watch on my own while Cherie's studying. And so I turned it on, and Cherie didn't want to see the suffering, or she
Oh,
couldn't
it's
study because, she would look up and go, get hung on the TV. So she went off to the bedroom to sit quietly somewhere
yeah.
to study. I ran her off, I guess. But I
Powerful.
was, I
Powerful
was,
movie.
I was watching it, and the spooky part of the movie that just as a Christian kind of chills you is while Jesus is being beaten, the devil with the Satan with the baby walks through in between the people looking, and it just kind of gives you chills down your spine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
When he's being
scene,
chastised, right?
yes,
When he's being
yeah.
chastised, and
Yeah, yeah. The Roman guards are beating him, whipping him, and stuff like that. And Satan with that creepy looking baby, whoever that little actor is, he did a good job. walking through the crowd in between people with this, evil look on his face. And I thought, it kind of gave me chills, like, someone turned around and, beat him. But, so anyway, man, it was maybe 3 minutes after that scene. In fact, I don't think it had even quite got to Jesus carrying the cross through the town part of the movie. Right after I saw that, my phone starts going off in our dev group, and we were being attacked.
Oh my gosh.
From a country again, and they were just sitting there slamming what's called our OTP system, trying to pull the login part down and, pierce the platform to get in. And thankfully, 3.5 years, we have enough architecture in the back end. I'm not saying we're completely bulletproof, but we are many, many layers of security, and we don't share any data outside anywhere else. So we don't partner with anything. We don't do pixel tracking. We don't let anything leave the platform for, many purposes, this being one of them. But we were being attacked. Just what are the odds in that? I was like,
wow, you're watching.
Pure evil. And then like 2 minutes, my phone goes, and I looked down, I was like, what? And I went in and I sent messages to the team. You guys getting that? And they're like, we're getting it. We're on it. And
oh like, wow, my goodness. Man.
So we've been attacked several times, but that was an interesting
talk about a correlation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
wow, man, that's have you experienced much attacks personally, like in your own personal life, your own mind, your own journey?
Yeah, absolutely.
How's that been?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And we're going to pause real quick. I have to pull my notes up. I had written some good notes down, I think, so you'll have to edit this out, okay?
Yeah, no worries at all.
Okay, the attacks. Let's see here. I told you we grew up in church, but that really didn't include my dad. We'd always talk to my dad about salvation, just kind of modeling. He was kind of a man's man. He was literally a coal mine worker, kind of cliche there, but he worked in the coal mines and would come home. So he was a little bit stern. I will say that when I graduated and moved out of the home, and got my own place and things, I was the last of 5 kids to leave house. And I know that he started attending church with my mom, but I'll say gosh, I may be wrong about this, about 4 years ago, I guess. He fell outside in his 80s, and he had to lay there for a few hours because no one found him. He tripped over the garden hose and, just getting old and stuff like that. And I remember that we came in, we were in Scottsdale, so we flew back into Texas at that time, Cherie and I did. And I know I had to sit with him that night, and he wasn't conscious. He was kind of just breathing hard, but I knew that he would respond to the water on the sponge, so I knew he was thirsty. He couldn't comprehend anything, breathing super hard, like that. But with the sponge on his lips, you could see he would drink a little bit. So I thought, man, he can't push back on me now. I raised my voice pretty loud. I was a little concerned one of the nurses might come in like I was yelling at him or something, but because he was kind of hard of hearing. So I witnessed to him, and I said, Dad, you really, it's really now as good a time as any to, really think about what Jesus has done for you, and just talk to him. He couldn't talk back, of course. That really, to this day, I don't even know if he heard me. So I guess a challenge would be, I guess I'll find out one day if he did. I'll put it that way. Yeah. So that's one thing. It's a challenge. I'd say a recent challenge is I told you we had 3 kids. Our youngest daughter, who is 25-ish, I'm not good with the years there, as you can see. She disappeared from us for like 3.5 years. And she just now came back into our life just in the last few weeks. But that brought Cherie to tears a lot. Like why? Yeah. We were such a close-knit family. Like our kids, wanted to hang out with us. We homeschooled, on top of that. So they were like our best friends. We were theirs. We were a super close-knit family. We did everything together, not because we forced them. They would choose us over their friends half the time, even when they got up in their upper teens. And then Shelby just kind of didn't want anything to do with us, just disappeared for 3.5 years of tears. Of course, Cherie took it, the female, way harder than myself. But we prayed hard prayers instead of, God, we pray she's doing okay. And, we prayed the loose prayers. And then I guess a part of me had a slight little piece of anger inside, like, well, why would she leave? Well, God, take care of her. So I started getting a little more stern with the prayers, saying, whatever it takes for Shelby to come home. And we started praying those hard prayers, because you say it with like, whatever it takes, but don't let her get hurt or anything, but whatever it takes, so you don't want to quite give it all to God. But we did. It was, I guess about a month and a couple of months ago now, we got a text message from the hospital saying Shelby, I think it was MRI scan is ready or something like that at the emergency room. And Cherie and I looked at each other like, first of all, why did we get that text? And what's wrong with Shelby? What it was, Cherie was a manager of one of the departments at that hospital years ago, and they had her as the contact, as the parent, mixed up with the phone numbers. So they thought they were texting Shelby. So we rushed to the emergency room. Of course, obviously hadn't seen her in a long, long time, and walked in, and Shelby came out from the back. She had broke her collarbone. That's it. We were thinking car wreck. We were thinking all this stuff, but she just broke her collarbone. She fell getting out of the shower, broke her collarbone, and fractured it. And she went to the emergency room. She came out, tears, just bawling, because she saw us and we saw her, and it was like, it's Shelby, like she looked a little different. She'd grown up, 3.5 years, of being. So there's that, man. Gosh, there's so many stories, that I could go through, but it's those hardships, that really, send us through. So
now I'm curious too, man, because gosh, that would have to be so difficult, especially, not being able to talk to your own kid, for that long, and, to go through that questionable, instance with your father, and, hoping that, he passed on the right side as well.
Yeah.
What are some ways, man, outside of course, your devotionals with Sherry, that you do to stay connected and rooted in the Lord, and to kind of keep that good, stern, mindset throughout these hardships?
Yeah. I'll say that it's not about the morning devotion. Let me back it up a little bit. You can get yourself in church on the weekends. That's not necessarily the doorway into heaven. Church doesn't get you into heaven in any way. It just gets you in the community where you do need to be, first of all, and be connected with God's people and being grouped around, because we're all weak. We're all super weak people. So if you're not at least there, that's not even step one. But then you want to take it another step, and you want to go to church on Wednesday nights. You enjoy it. Nowadays, it's the modern way as a home group, which is awesome. You want to be a home study group, Bible study group with somebody at, that group. That's awesome. That's step two. Step three is starting a morning devotional time by yourself or with your spouse or something. That's step three. But dude, that's still that many hours out of the entire week, going through. So I would say the last step is the one that I am working at, still struggle with a little bit, but still working at, is being a little more connected 24 hours a day. Your thoughts are almost little miniature prayers. Your decisions are, well, I think I should do there. You kind of bounce off with, that, and then you try to make the decision. I'm not the best at it, but that is my final step in growth maturity, of doing it a little more 24/7 than that. And I'll tell you, man, I've never been in ministry before. That is still weird to say. I got invited to a pastor's conference last week, and I went, and I was like, I emailed him back and I said, hey, I'm not a pastor, and they're like, no, you're an entrepreneur in the space, please come. And I'm like, this is weird. I'm not a pastor. So, but anyway, I am. I have to admit, I'm actually in ministry now, because our platform is the purpose is to spread the gospel worldwide, not to preach it down people's throat, but as a group of Christians on a social platform, not a Christian social media platform. I'll be clear, not a bubble for Christians. We're not that. We are a social platform based on positivity, gratitude, thankfulness. Oh, wait, that's all the Christian values. Yes, we're a social platform, but our backbone and our algorithms and our rules are Christian-based values in the background. So our ministry is outreach around the world. We are leading by example, and we're using a social platform to do it. So I will
Beautiful,
say, to
beautifully said.
answer your question, being in ministry to where I'm working with things like this all day, it sure helps. Because in those days of running the Quick Lube and started a credit card merchant processing company and robotic trading softwares and sales and all this other stuff, you're out in the world with the real world people, and it's not as you don't have the luxury of dealing in ministry all day long. So I will say that's kind of been a
Right.
perk. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I bet. I bet. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And for the people who aren't in the space, like how me and you are, and
Hmm.
who aren't technically rooted career wise in this
Mm.
space, this is where I've always felt like it's so important to be mindful of what you consume.
It's
And this
true.
goes for food, this goes for drinks, this goes for social media content. This
Hmm.
goes for
True.
the people that you talk to, the
Hmm.
environments that you put yourself in. Like it goes for everything around you and what you make of your life. It's so important on what you're taking into your mind and what you're allowing to stay in your mind and the people that you're allowing to have around you. It's
True.
so very important
Yes.
regardless of whether you're in the Christian space or not. Because you can be in the Christian space, but then if you have bad friends and then you're hanging out
Hmm.
with those friends Monday through Thursday, and then but you're
Yep.
doing your job, it's like you're still pulled. You're
You
pulled
are,
in both directions, and
because we're
it's
weak.
it's crucial. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
We're all
very
weak.
weak.
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah.
sinners. We're all sinners,
We are.
man, and we
We're
need
all
a
sinners.
savior.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just to bounce right off of that, I would like to just ask you one more question, and then maybe a couple little quick
Exactly.
questions towards the end, and then we'll call it from there. So
All right.
it's
Deal.
been wonderful so far.
Hmm.
But what would you tell someone, Shawn, someone who is a Christian, who would say that they're a Christian, that they believe in Jesus, they believe he's their savior, but they feel that guilt to spread the gospel to others because they feel like they're imperfect themselves.
Mm.
Like, oh,
Mm.
I'm not good enough to share the gospel because I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be, countering, what I'm trying to tell this person to help them or what I'm trying to do for this person. What would you tell someone like that who feels that guilt or that shame to
So it's a
not
little,
say anything?
exactly. It's a little multifaceted. So we're all that way. We're actually all that way. We've got a couple, three different pastors because we bounce between Texas and Arizona back and forth. So we have a church home there and here, and then I deal with pastors all the time and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
they all share the same thing. They have to force themselves out on the stage and put themselves in front of everybody and say, be like, Jesus's words, follow, and they themselves struggle with it. And I guess since I am an example type of looking person, I kind of like to see those stories and stuff. Hear me correctly here. It gives me peace knowing they even deal with it. They deal with the
Yeah.
same thing. So
Yeah.
I'll say like my dad told me, because he was a hard dad and I was a hard working little kid, building fences at 7 years and 10 years old and stuff. Is figure it out. And that's in the book that I'm coming out. That's what my dad instilled in me, even though, it wasn't
Yeah.
a Christian value. It turned into a Christian value, is just
Yeah.
figure it out. You don't know how to do it,
Mm.
figure it out. So you're about to speak to someone, put one step in front of the other and just figure it out. Just open your mouth and go and share the gospel, and you will be amazed at how that seed plants back in your soul and theirs especially. And it gets easier too, man. It gets easier
Right.
as
Right.
it goes. So
Yeah.
just get over that little, it shouldn't have stage fright one on one. But, and also I want to give advice to people who also struggle with that. Sometimes when you start to begin to do it, you cram it
Hmm.
down their throat without love. So you have to be careful with that. I'm real big about that.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
not a weenie when it comes to like bringing stuff like that up, but I am extremely respectful to meet them where they're at to make sure that I'm not being hypocritical either. Because us Christians, I'll tell you, man, I think, and I'm pretty sure this is a fact, that the mass majority of people who don't have a church home or attend church regularly is because they've been burned by church, or they see the hypocrites of Christians happening. And that is, unfortunately, we have to live with it. And you have to be careful when you're talking about people or talking to people, and you're a little fearful of bringing up the gospel. Do it with love and gentleness, and be cautious of their surroundings and yours, and meet them at their level when you do it. Do it with love, and just,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't just blurt
Yeah.
it out and say, well, you need to find Jesus, or anything like that. You're
Right.
just going to turn them
Right.
off on that.
Yeah.
People love
Yeah.
testimonials too. It's the best way. And it also makes the person telling it more comfortable, saying, hey, I see you're going through this. I'm going to tell you something, kind of funny about myself, humble yourself in some way, or to show you what kind of idiot I am. Let me tell you this story, humble yourself, you're saying it,
Yeah.
I had that problem that you're dealing with, not long ago. And man, it tore me from one to the other. Or my best friend was this or that. You can give the testimonial. It doesn't have to be yourself on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this is, the same situation as you. It looks kind of similar, but, they found a church home and started changing their life around, and changed their focus away from the world and, back to God and his values. And it totally changed their life. And, and it wasn't difficult to do. If it's something, you'd want to do,
Right.
I think I can almost 1,000% promise you that it would change your situation. So you meet them at their level and you give it testimonial style, and it's so much smoother, than saying you need Jesus, and just turns people off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and even as it says in the Bible, always be able to give a reason in Jesus. And I think that's such a powerful quote. Always be able to just give your testimony. Why do you believe? Why does it help you in your life?
Absolutely.
And another thing, man, that I think it scares a lot of people away is some of the questions that they get. Some of the questions that they get that may intimidate them, because maybe they don't know the answer. Maybe no one knows the answers. Right.
Huh?
There's many people out here that we all don't know,
true,
why certain things happen a certain way. Why is there so much pain and suffering over here? Why is this happening like that? There's so many different questions, man, that you can ask a Christian, and the correct answer is, I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
And so many people, they overthink that, and they're like, no, I got to know the answer. If I don't know the answer, then I'm going to look stupid. And then now it's going to come back on me, and then they're going to look at me different because I couldn't, give them this answer that I'm following Jesus, but I don't know this answer about Jesus.
Yeah. The I don't know so is powerful.
I don't know. And when you're spreading the gospel, like you said, you don't have to be super hard or stern. Share your story. You can even just walk up, man. Just a little quick story. I used to go to the gym, and I would walk up in the locker room after my workout, and I'd just go up to some dude I didn't know, and I'd be like, hey, man, I just want to let you know I feel called on my heart to tell you that Jesus loves you a lot. Just something so simple, and like, hey, do you believe in Jesus? Yeah, I do. Well, yeah, he loves you a lot. And the amount of times, man, you'll get those people who like look at you like you just said the most bizarre thing ever. Like you just said the holy God, loves you a lot, and the Creator loves you a lot. And oh man, you could just make someone's day, make someone's life. You can change someone's whole situation around just by having that courage to say something and to understand, as you mentioned, we're all not perfect. None of us are better than someone else or worse than someone else. We are all the same.
Absolutely.
And when you have that mindset, man, it's you can speak to anyone and you can tell them anything about Jesus.
You can. And I'll tell you a funny story that's kind of similar to the I don't know and how powerful it is. I'll tell you a quick story. Years ago, one of the companies I started was a software sales company. We weren't a software company. We just sold a software that was robotic stock trading way before AI was ever really a word at all, way before then, just shows my age. But I would do some heavy marketing, and I would fill up some hotel convention rooms, sometimes with hundreds in there. And what would come in was because we were selling a stock trading software. Of course, the stock trading people wanted to see how this worked. Well, let me tell you, I'm not fast with math. I don't know I am far from an expert. I don't do the stock market myself on my own at that. I don't
Yeah,
understand it.
yeah.
It's over my head. I wouldn't dare touch into it, but yet I was selling the software. So let me tell you,
Mm,
that first meeting with all those people packed into a hotel convention room, and I was on a stage and I was explaining how this software works, and I didn't know a thing about the internet or excuse me the stock exchange, how any of that worked, the stock market. uh, I learned to say I don't know. And you would
right,
think that you
right.
would think it's the way I said it. It's not that I don't know how this works. They would ask these, because remember, these stock trading people, they would stand up and, yada, yada, well, does the flux capacitor, yada, 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 all these huge words.
Yeah,
And I'd look at
right.
them and I'd say, well, and I'd look back at my big monitor on the screen with the robotic stock trading thing on there. I said, I don't know. I don't know, but it's whipping what you're doing. And they go, hmm. And they would sit down.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. Well, he's right. So I was like, I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know how it does it, but it's whipping what you're
yeah,
doing. And they're like, yeah, I can't argue that. It is outrunning us, So though the I don't know, if used properly, is extremely powerful. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
truth will set you free.
Yeah.
The truth will
Yeah.
set you free.
True. So true.
Absolutely.
So true.
So, I have some just some quick fire off questions, and then
Okay.
we'll call it, man.
All
So,
right, man.
my first question is, what is your favorite Bible verse and why? I
Well,
know there's a lot. There's a lot out there. There's
there
many.
is. There is.
So, what's one that comes to your mind, man? That
So
that that hits you?
people are going to think that I'm cheating here because I'm picking this. Can you stand up and show the audience your shirt? I am not making this up. You sent me a list of questions before we started. It's Romans 5:3-4, man. The
Romans
perseverance,
5:3.
character.
That
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
wow.
Um, going through 7 quick lube centers, and
Yep.
some of them did horrible. I had to sell them off. We had a huge IRS bill because when I first started as a 20-year-old, I didn't know you were supposed to match Social Security and Medicare benefits, and send that in with your taxes. I went
Yeah,
over a
you don't learn
year
that in
doing
school.
that. No, you don't learn that stuff in school, and no one taught
Yeah,
me. So I had to, my
yeah.
dad, figure it out. So I started I was 20 years old. No help from anybody. I just one day I'm an employee, the next day I'm the owner. Man, I didn't know how to send nothing out. I knew how to service the cars, and that was the end of it. So had a huge IRS bill I had to pay off. Uh, I was about shut down by a business partner in a merchant company. Like I said, the quick lube centers, some businesses fail, some have been successful. Starting ActsSocial with no coding background, and people make fun of me. I hate school. I hated being told what to do, and I failed typing. I still, to this day, at 51 years old, I cannot type. My employees make fun of me when they come by the desk because these 2 fingers can do 38 words a minute. So I can liquid fast go through the keyboard, looking down at the keyboard. So failure
Oh
there. But yet
wow.
I own a tech company.
Yeah,
Man, just nightmares over nightmares after nightmares. And if you ask me if I would look back through that perseverance and character building moments and change anything, and the answer would be I absolutely wouldn't, man. I'm glad a business partner messed me around and almost sent me to bankruptcy. I'm glad some of those businesses, sadly, failed on that because
yeah,
all of that built character. And I think God sent me through and made me persevere through some of the worst, because I'm an aggressive entrepreneur, get up, get the business going and stuff. And
yeah.
also that means you crash harder. So when you crash, you have to sell the family home. Your wife has to get 3 jobs to keep up. It's hard times, man. But would I change that? Yeah, those things did stink. But looking back, I think he was persevering me for the hell that we will endure opening ActsSocial to the world and spreading the gospel through a social platform. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's why
yeah,
he did it to me.
yeah. It was all preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's a beautiful outlook, man, and
Thanks.
quite bizarre how I'm representing it on the shirt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's quite another
Yeah.
good correlation there.
Yeah. What are the odds, man? You wear that shirt today.
So yeah, yeah.
What?
What are the odds, man?
Yeah.
I'm
I
picking for
know.
my
I
shirts. I
know.
was like,
I know your
He's gonna be
listeners,
the one.
everybody watching is going to be like, "Oh, he couldn't remember a verse. He picked the shirt."
Yeah.
No, you actually pre-sent me some questions, say we might get to these, and I was like, "Okay, here's
Yeah.
this one," and it's the shirt.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
That is hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh, okay. And this next question is kind of similar. What is your favorite Bible chapter that you
Mm.
feel has impacted you the most, and why?
Uh, so I couldn't tell you over the years what my common ones were, besides the obviouses, that everybody
Yeah.
knows. Besides that, but I
Yeah.
will say for just the last few years, it's definitely Acts 2. Uh,
Mm.
in the 40s, 42ish and up, where it describes like the early church and fellowship and breaking bread and daily prayer and
Yeah.
helping each other and having sincere hearts and stuff. When we first started this ActsSocial 3.5, almost 4 years ago, coming up here in a few months, 4 years, it wasn't called ActsSocial. We had named it something else. We had named it NABES, like neighbors with a Z. Terrible name. Now that we look back, I'm glad God sent us through that. But we went to file the trademark, and Amazon threatened to sue us. Amazon threatened to sue us. And what happened is Amazon bought Ring, the app, the doorbell Ring, and in the back of the Ring app, they have a section called Neighbors, and
Oh
they
my.
trademarked it. And I was like, they're not a social media company. How can they do that? And the attorney says, well,
Right.
two things: they can't. You could fight it. But the second thing is they have millions of dollars in multiple trademark attorneys. You'll never win it. So I was like, whatever. So I started studying and thought, well, maybe it's a good time we can roll this off better. And that's where ActsSocial came from. And our platform does that Acts 2:42 and on chapter there, to where it's, coming together, the devotion, the fellowship, where everybody, met together
Yeah.
on that. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah, God didn't just say, build a Christian version of Facebook. He said, build what Acts 2 is like and put the phone in everybody's hand.
Right. Right.
So,
Wow. Wow. I
yeah.
love it. I love it. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Well, final question for you, and then
Mm-hmm.
we'll part ways here. So, final question is: if Jesus was with you right now, in this moment, he's sitting down with you right now, and you could ask him one question, what would that question be?
Yes, that we spoke about it a minute ago. Growing up with a father who was too tough to be a church Christian, manly man.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
went through he was a POW in the Korean War. He's missing some of his fingertips because they cut him off, for trying to make them talk. Telling me, he was a kind father. He was definitely not abrupt at all. He was just matter of factly figure it out. So he'd say, we're going to need 3 new barns in the front of the property, Shawn, you 10-year-old. I had put all the tin and everything out there. Get on the tractor, get everything graded, but we need 3 new barns in the front while I work. Cause he's coal mine. So he was always gone, working 12-hour
Yeah.
shifts. And I had to figure out as a kid how to build those barns, how to put the fences together. He would show me some basics, and then he would head off and say,
Yeah.
figure it out. The tractor broke, figure it out. This is up on the farm, figure it out. So as I went through the quick lube years where I had that, and building ActsSocial, through all these years, it's always been figure it out. So
Yeah.
did Jesus, my question is, did my father hear me after all that?
Mhm.
When he was
Yeah.
laying on the deathbed and had no recollection of anything going on, I don't think, except for some water to his lips from a sponge.
Mhm.
Did he hear me almost yelling in his ear, because that's how he was, he couldn't hear
Yeah.
anyway, but
Yeah.
did he hear me say that, follow Jesus, be looking for him? And yeah, so I guess, I guess there's a few things, but that's what comes to my head right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, man, if I can give you, kind of what I think, I think he did hear you.
Yeah, I do
So
too, man.
that's
I do too.
that would be my thought. I think he
I
absolutely did
agree.
hear you, and I think it was very powerful
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
moment and that time in your life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I agree,
Wow.
man. I agree.
Well, Shawn, man, this has been an absolute pleasure having you
Oh,
on the
thank you.
podcast and getting to kind of dive into your story a little bit. Can't wait. You got a book coming out, you said, in a
We
little
do.
bit?
It's labeled and called out of nowhere because I was
Yeah.
just a Texas redneck kid and serial entrepreneur with lots of failures and a few successes, and then hated social media. And God said, "Oh, build a social media company to go against all the big tech
All
giants."
that.
You know,
Wow.
it's I am God, and
Yeah.
I can crush them if I say to
Yeah.
do so. So we
Right.
just made sure we built it right because I don't want
Yeah.
to answer for a cruddy platform. So yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll see. It's
Yeah.
really he's the CEO of ActsSocial, not me. So we'll see what he has
Man,
planned
what a
for it.
beautiful.
I was just told to build
Oh,
it, and we've done it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and you,
Well,
by the way,
that
you've done a great job for the company. So thanks for all your being the head of marketing on everything. You've done an awesome job.
yeah.
So hats off to you as
Very,
well,
very,
sir.
very blessed to have this opportunity,
Yeah,
man, and to get to know you and your story and your work ethic.
we're blessed to have you.
It's been an absolute
Yeah.
blessing. Yeah,
Oh
yeah, it's
man.
been
Well,
wonderful. So,
feelings mutual.
and
Feelings mutual, brother.
hopefully the next time we have you on the pod here, we'll get to go even further into some
All
more
right.
things that are
All
happening,
right.
and I think a lot of beautiful things happening for Act Social. Everyone listening, we would love for you guys to go check out ActsSocial version 2.0. Will be coming out very soon,
Mm-hmm.
probably within the next month here, month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we would love for you guys to hop on and join the community and
Absolutely.
walk your journey of faith with us. So
Absolutely.
it'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Shawn, absolute pleasure, brother. You have a
You as
great
well.
rest of your day, man, and I'm sure I'll talk to you here
All
shortly.
right. Thank you, brother. Love you guys.
All
Bye bye.
right.